Hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode, or basically another live stream here on our Facebook page. My name is Efren Luna with the Cultural Alliance of Long Beach. This is our 6th week doing this free online art classes. So basically we're gonna do a new project today, maybe touch up a little bit of the other ones. So thank you for watching, share the video. I'm gonna get started in a few minutes. We've done several videos. Several videos. This is our 6th one, I believe, and we've done several paintings. You can see on the background there's one. It's kind of hard to see, it's too far out, but it's there. There's another one, our landscape that we did. There is our drawing that we did with the grid technique. And these are the ones that are in progress. These ones are the ones that are in progress. We may just work on this one. I did a little bit of touching up on the color. I did kind of touch it up outside of our session from last week. And then I also did a little bit of touch up on the urban writing style type of thing, right? That you can see here. So this one's, I think it's pretty much done. There's more that can be added. It's a combination of markers, acrylic paint, layers, and it's just kind of like having this pretty cool translucent effect, and I like it pretty much. So I may continue, or to add a little more details during the session, and then I'm going to create another painting. I know I talked about other styles, and what I've noticed is that I'm starting to record or actually go through different styles as we record. So today I'm gonna do an abstract painting, kind of like very loosely, but very, very fun. But I'm gonna touch up this one a little bit more, and at least while I promote, because I'm trying to promote the live feed to other pages that we have. So that's why I'm doing a little bit of chatting while I promote, try to get folks to join us or watch us live. But as you know, this type of classes, they stay on for you to revisit and watch at another date. So if you're not ready and you just want to watch, that's fine. If you're ready, go get your materials. All you're going to need is paint, brushes, a canvas. If you don't have a canvas, you can use pretty much any flat surface. Ideally like white, just so the colors can stand out. But if it's not, it's all right. Our thing is going to be pretty experimental. Well, not experimental, but like loosely. And you'll see what I mean. But I'm gonna touch up this one a little bit while we get folks to join us. And then I'll just work on the other one, actually the new project. So there we go. I already shared our link to several of our other outlets. So share the link if you want. So I chose the word love, because what's happening, we need a lot of that to carry through. Love is very strong. So I went through the process of showing you how to do the letters, like, little shortcuts, little samples, and things like that. So if you want to revisit the video, how this was started, I think it was 2 episodes ago or 2 sessions, that was pretty much it started from the beginning. Everything I do, I start from scratch, and that's why these videos are 2 hours. And they're pretty lengthy, anyway, so I'll get started with this one, or actually I should say I'll continue. Let's see what else I can add. Let me get this keyboard out of the way. All right, so as you can see, I have a lot of things going on right here. I have markers, brushes. I noticed that that I started adding like markers, brush strokes. So this is, technically this will be called mixed media. All right, mixed media is when you use more than one you know, material. Like it could just all be acrylic. It could be acrylic, you know, marker, pencil, whatever. You know, that's what they call mixed media. So I'm kind of outlining with this marker, and I have no plan, just going with the flow, just kind of touching up. What I do notice is that every time I use marker, the painting gets darker. So that's kind of like, because I'm using black marker. I do have other colors of marker, and I did use them to do this pink highlight kind of thing. But then I highlighted with the marker. But it's all good, you know, like I said, this is your own composition, you know. So I'm going to put a little, what do we call this, a little outline of this white line. And at the end, what I'm going to do, I'm going to spray it with this gloss, this spray that's gloss, and it's going to stand out, like all the colors are going to be more vibrant. I'm not going to be able to do that live because I'm indoor, and that stuff needs to be done outdoor. But that's another secret, or another, another tool. You use the gloss spray, you know, and it gives it this like really vibrant, you know, the colors stand out. It shines more, you know. To be honest, like I've sold some of the paintings that were sprayed. I sold ones that were not sprayed, but the ones, it makes the color stand out, and personally, it's not my favorite thing, like for me, but you know, if you're trying to sell it, trying to make it look good, that's a good thing, you know. All right, so I'm just kind of touching up a little bit of the lines. I don't know if I want to add more color. I think it's pretty much done. I don't know what else to put on. I don't like it that it got too dark in some of the shapes here. But you know what? Let me try to balance that out. You know, I noticed this shape doesn't have as many lines as those. So let me just try to add a few lines to sort of make it just for design purposes. You know, this triangle shapes have lines, several lines, and this one doesn't. So just going with what, you know, just trying to fill it, you know. I haven't done this style of art in a long time, you know, so I'm just going with the momentum. With the momentum, let me check our social medias. There we go, we're live. Harvey RA mentioned you in a comment. All right, that's something else. Someone else promoting their thing. All right, so share the video if you know someone that likes art. I don't know what else to add to this painting. I think it's pretty much done. So I'll take a break from this one. I'm gonna show you again. I just pretty much highlighted some of the lines. Next time I'll spray it, it'll probably shine more. I don't know if I want to add more color. Like I said, there's always more and more to add, and the painting keeps on changing. You just have to kind of know when to stop, and sometimes that's probably one of the hardest things to do. All right, without further ado, let's touch up the other one. Yeah, this one needs a lot of work. I feel like I made a lot of progress, but it also needs a lot of work. And let's touch it up and see how that goes. All right, so I have pretty much this warm color, even though this yellow is kind of like a cool yellow, and I know yellow is warm, but sometimes this is like a lemon yellow, and you can see that, hopefully you can see that on the video. So I'm gonna do a little bit of touch up let's start with the red. So I'm gonna touch it up. All right, so just to see, I'm just gonna try to color at a I haven't used a lot of white to mix with my paint, so the colors are pretty dark. White is good, it makes the colors like lighter, I guess, you know, but it also, it gives it that, like if I add white to this red, it's gonna be pink, right? If you add white to the yellow, it's gonna be like, you know, I don't know if this is the right term, but it's like baby colors, right? Like all the baby blankets are, they have colors, but white is a prominent, you know, it's prominent in them, and it's like pink, baby blue, you know, things like that. You add white if you want to mix your colors. You add white. I feel like this sun is kind of like becoming like this lion face with all this rays around, going around. All right. Let me add a little bit of this yellow. I'm gonna try to blend the warm colors. So our next hour, we usually start another painting within our second hour, and that's gonna be the goal today. I'm going to do an abstract painting. Basically, anyone can do this. You know, it's I talked in my other video about how like some of the most famous paintings are abstracts and most valuable. And you know, everyone has an opinion, right? You know, I don't know. I have over the years my opinions change, and I guess as they say, right, art is in the eye of the beholder. What is art to you? Right? There's no right answer. Like in our music class, our professor asks you a question: what is music to you? Right? He'll start out. If you're new, he'll tell you, what is music to you? And I'm not gonna tell you his answer, so you can go and join the class and hear from him. But everyone has a different answer, you know. But he has his answer, and he's very strong about what his answer is. I'll give you a hint. He's coming from the science aspect of it, right? So, right? But I mean, I guess there is a science to art, to light. We call light logic, right? Light logic. Like light logic means the shadows, shading, the direction of the sunlight versus the shadows. That's called light logic. You know, so I'm going to throw a little vocabulary as we paint and chat. You know, a little art vocabulary. So that's called light logic. I wanted to do some videos about like light logic. But to be honest, like they tend to be more interesting for folks who want to pursue art seriously. Like most folks who are doing this just to, you know, pass time, like a lot of folks at home right now, you know, that stuff might be a little bit boring per se. And this series of videos is not meant like as a professional type of artist. I mean, you could start here and, you know, but this is more of a like just kind of having fun, you know. That's the goal with this classes. I think Yayo was sharing our link. Thank you for that. Thank you, Yayo, for donating a couple of the canvases. Actually, this canvas is Yayo donated. Lucy Rodriguez is watching our video. Yayo, thank you, both of you guys for sharing our video and for liking it. So this was inspired. Yada, can you bring me the mask that this was inspired by? So my daughter's gonna bring me the mask just to show you. Some of you guys already seen it, but I'm gonna show you where I gather my inspiration. I used a mask that was, let me see that, there you go. So this is a mask here, I'll put it on, right? How's that for a twist? So it's probably hard for you to hear me. So I'll remove it from my face so you can hear the sound. So this mask was done by a student, a community member, this lady, I can't think of her name, but she came here several times. She had a lot of fun doing the mask, and we hope she comes back when we're able to have people back. But this was my inspiration for my painting. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you can get inspiration from different, you can use different things for inspiration, right? And that's the idea. You can see actually this assignment is a mask that Tony does. Tony is an art teacher here for the people that come to our our art class live. He does this paper mache assignments, like kind of like sculptures, right? But the face print is an actual replica of the person's face. And I'm not going to tell you all the details of how he goes about it, but that's pretty interesting, you know? That's the, that's the story behind this mask, and I hope that this mask could be finished once we're able to safely return to the gallery. So now we'll go back to our painting. And vamos a la pintura, por favor. All right. So you can see where the inspiration came from, right? The sun rays are what happened here, and I just want to mention this, that the sun rays were you've noticed they're smaller here, they're larger here. What happened there is that I didn't consider my composition from the get-go. I just went like straight up and did it, and that's all good too. But that's what happens when you don't consider your composition. This comment is for the ones that want to take art more serious. But like I said, that's not the purpose, or that's not the main purpose here of this sessions. But what happened here, then I'll share a story. What happened here is the sun rays became smaller. Why do you think they became smaller on the top and bottom? I know you can, maybe you can comment, right? Maybe you can comment on our live. But I tell you why they became smaller. They weren't meant to be smaller. They're meant to come out, and radiate. But they became smaller because the canvas is small. And that's a problem that reoccurs with a lot of artists, right? When you're starting, you tend to work within the canvas, and we start like without considering the final composition. And that's what happened to me. But like I said, I didn't want this to be a technical assignment, like, as much as more of a free assignment. But I did want to point out, this became small because the canvas is small. And if I wanted to make it big, I should have made the face smaller, right? So those are things to consider when you're like going to make something a little more, you're going to be you're going to consider your composition. Those are little details, And the funny story, I'm not going to mention the artist's name. And if he's watching, he can comment later. He's one of my good friends, artist friends. I have a lot of artist friends, but I have very few that are like really, that I'm cool with. But one of my friends this is many years ago. We went to his house, his studio, and he had this painting he made from a dream, right? This was really beautiful painting, like, it was this religious guy, like maybe Jesus, I want to say, overlooking like this city. He was standing on a hill, and he was overlooking this city below him with like walls, right? Like those Roman cities that have walls. that's kind of what it was, right? And it was really great. And I hope he still has that painting. And he said, yeah, you know, this is based on a dream. And I remember my son was with me. And then my son's like, yeah, you know, he's very awesome. Like, my son loves his art, right? He's like, he's awesome that he was able to do this, like, inspired by a dream. And I thought, man, this is great, you know? And then there's a little bit of a critique, right? You know, but I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just, I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And this character had a rope, you know, like, I guess older, you know, historical figures from, like, you know, people that use robes, you know, like religious figures. And the foots were like, they were showing on the bottom, you know, the feet, right? They were showing on the bottom, you know, and they were really nicely drawn, the feet, the face, and the robe, you know. But I thought, like, look, and this was when I was freshly out of college, so I was like in critique mode, right? And I mean, I mentioned it, and I was like, hey, you know, the feet are pretty big, you know, and the face, they kind of go together. I said, but from the measurements, it looks like the inside of the body's short, it's shrunken. And he told me, yeah, it's because the canvas is small, and I just use a rope to cover the body, and and now it's and that way I can make the body, right? And I thought, yeah. I'm like, well, that's all the problem. I said, but now it's like, now if you analyze the size of the body, it's a midget, you know, and I don't mean it in a bad way. It's a little person, you know. He says, yeah, but it's not a midget. It's not excuse me, I don't know if that's an appropriate term. I think it's a little person, right? That's the appropriate term. He says, yeah, it's not a little person, you know. He said it's a regular sized person. I said, yeah, but it looks like a little person, you know, because it doesn't make sense. Like, it's either that or it's you know, but the ropes doesn't because the cloth around the body, if the body's kneeling down or sitting down, it would wrap around the body, so it would be obvious. But I'm like, the rope makes it seem like he's standing, and the size is the proportion. He says, oh yeah, now I see it. And he went on and erased it. I don't know if he ever finished it, but I kind of felt bad in a way for saying that. But at the same time, he was like, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. So he was thankful for me to mention that. And I didn't do it in any bad intention. I was, like I said, I was just fresh out of college, like with all this, you know, all this critique. And I'm like, you know, so if you want to critique my art, it's your chance to come back and watch the video and critique my art. Critiques are really fun to do. Some people still do them, you know. It helps you to see other perspectives, you know. But the rule about critiquing is you got to keep painting. You can't just be a critic and not paint. At least, you know, in my experience. So I kind of feel bad. But then he was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. He's like, thanks for mentioning. He said, thanks for mentioning. Anyway, so I feel like I'm making good progress with this painting here. I haven't colored in the eyes. I did the eyelids, or the eyelids. You know, I did that. See, I'm gonna do a little bit of black to highlight the you know, the border or the race. See, I got 4 people watching us. Is there any comments over there? Someone's made a comment. All right, let me click on there. I want to acknowledge your comments, guys. Thank you for commenting, for watching us live. You know, someone's calling me. Okay. Yo lo puedo cancelar de acá, ya me di cuenta. I can actually, because I have my daughter's cool, Jenny Staven, it says cool. Thank you Jenny for watching. Share the video. We're live, but people can watch. We keep the video so people can revisit. Thank you for watching. These assignments are meant for anybody to do. Wait till at 5, we're streaming live, so at 5, we started just a little bit late, but just at 5, we're going to start something new. It's going to be, anyone can do it. The other one, if you don't like abstract, it's not going to be your thing, but everybody does, right? It's kind of like splatting paint around, things like that. There's going to be a little bit of guidance, but for the most part, you're going to be able to do your own thing. All right. And I thought about this. I was like, maybe I should put like, but you know what? For the next assignment, make sure you have a large table, right? And put like an old cloth or paper underneath, just in case you get it on there. If you have acrylic paint, it washes off if you clean it right away. Like what I'm using is acrylic paint, and it washes off immediately if you clean it before it dries. Once it dries, that's it. It's for you to keep. So if that's not the purpose, you need to clean it right away. The schools, they usually use tempera color because it's cheaper, but that is like very opaque and the colors don't stand out as much. But the color is very, very washable for tempera colors. But we're using acrylic. Okay, and now oil colors, they take a long time to dry. They take days, sometimes weeks, sometimes more. But they do sell a medium for them. Anyways, if you're at home, use what you have. Use markers, use color pencils, use paint. I'm just touching up the edges, the borders, and kind of making darker where the yellow spilled over. All right, I see I got a couple of people watching us. There we go. If you want to do this painting, this is very easy. All you do is like a circle, or like more like an oval shape, kind of like an egg shape in the center. And then just put like the features, the mouth, the eyes, the nose, like 2 circles for the cheekbones. And then just make rays around it, it's like a sun. And just color it, that's the idea for this one. This is a kind of like a very colorful sun, I showed you my inspiration, right? It was someone else's artwork that was a 3-dimensional mask that is still in progress, by the way. That was my inspiration. I just wanted to show you that you can use anything to inspire you. All right. All right, so right now I'm just adding details. In fact, I'll use a smaller brush, and I'm gonna try to draw the lines a little more in. There you go. Create more of a dramatic. There you go. That's kind of looking good. Create more of a dramatic, this sun rays. Yep. So this is not officially like, proportion or anything. This is freehand. It does have a face, but it's not like proportionately equal, And that's all right. The idea is to use a lot of colors, make it very bright, So now I'm just kind of highlighting the drawing. I'm starting to like this part. very therapeutic to do this type of work. You know, you just keep adding color, taking away. You can play music, you know, if you're painting at home, or you can just, you know, paint with silence. I don't play music because the audio is cut off if I do. But normally I would just play music and just chill, you know. So if you like this idea, this you can actually do just by looking at the image that I have and just kind of do that, you know. Basically you're creating something with color and paint. So paint, you know. All right. I think I can keep on doing this, you know, kind of highlighting the rays. I mean, let's see. Let me connect them to the body. Yeah, looking good. You know, don't be afraid to, you know, some people say, oh, I don't know how to paint, I mess it up, you know. This is not what we're doing here. You just paint, and there's no such thing as messing up. If anything, we can paint over it, you know. That's it. You know. So mistakes are also like part of the process, you know. Like you can paint over them, it's no big deal. All right, I think I'm doing the highlights and it's making the drawing stand out, you know. So I'm kind of like redrawing with the brush with like this black outline, and it's giving this pretty cool effect, you know. So it's almost the hour, so I'm gonna start something new. I haven't done anything like you know, like purely abstract. Even though this is a little bit abstract because this is not a real human's face. It has a little bit of that, but it's not like proportionate to a human face, right? So it's very abstract in that sense. But there's a reference, right? A reference, an element of reference. The next one's going to be purely abstract. So that one's going to be... So just FYI, for the other project, clear the space around because you may splatter a little bit of paint on the edges. You know, just know that, you know, cover your areas if you don't want paint to get all over the place. When you paint, you want to use your painting clothes, like you paint shirts, pants, things like that, that, you know, that you don't mind paint getting all over. I don't have any painting clothes. I just, if I get it on my clothes, it just becomes part of what I do. But some people have an apron, you know. You know, you don't want to mess up your good, expensive clothes if that's, you know, a concern. Just remember that, like, aprons are good, you know, to protect that. Or just put on clothes that you don't mind. Some people, some artists, they have like the same clothes for every time they paint, and the paint splatters on their clothes they wear, and it looks kind of cool. So it's like an accumulation of, I know a few people that have that, you know. That's kind of like also like a style. Fashion, I guess, I don't know. Probably not intentional, or maybe intentional, I don't know. I would have to ask them, but I think it becomes a fashion too. Like, hey, you know, I was painting. A lot of times those painting marks are from like other sessions. But it's all good, you know. That's the idea, is that at least you understand like what's gonna be permanent if you don't clean it. And if you do understand that, you either want to embrace it or protect against. So if you're a parent out there, and you're going to do our next assignment with your children, make sure they have something you don't mind paint getting on, or make sure you wash the paint off right away. You can create aprons. Here at the gallery we have extra aprons for people to use. Or we just tell people wash it off right away if you don't want it to be permanent. You know, as long as you understand that, it's all good. Anyway, so I'm just kind of highlighting the shapes. It's looking pretty cool, I think, very interesting, you know. This colorful sun. This painting makes me want to cut it out and make it like a sculpture or something to hang on the wall. You know. I don't know, I guess I'm thinking of the actual mask. So I'm using the black as an outline for the drawing of the face. You can use a Sharpie too. I think that's what I use for my original drawing. I started with pencil, and then I went over with Sharpies just so you can see better on the video. But then that style, or that, you know, the Sharpie element became a big part of this. So now I have this black acrylic paint. It kind of resembles like a Sharpie's marking. But it's all good, I like that. All right, I don't know what else to do. I think I want to paint the eyes. Maybe I'll, great colors. Thank you, Lily, Keith Lily. Shout out to Keith Lily. Keith Lily is watching us live. He's the program director for the art and music classes here at the Cultural Alliance. Thank you, Keith, for your comment. Appreciate that. Let's see. So the colors very vibrant. You can see this vibrant colors. The other thing that makes it stand out, and Keith, if you're still watching us, is because we use the black background. Like if this black was white, the colors would be like the white would suck up a lot of the light. This is like strange, you know, like that's how colors work. Colors only work depending on the environment that's around them. And maybe I'll do, I keep saying that I'm going to do this like technical classes, you know, but maybe I'll save those for like live sessions for folks who want to learn art more in depth. But yeah, color theory is a big thing, you know. Color theory is basically the idea about how like colors react around their environment, or the, you know, light settings, but especially how they react next to each other. You know, there's actually entire college lessons about color theory, you know, or sessions or courses, you know. So we're not going to get too deep into that, but I do want to mention that the reason why the colors are bright, is because they are, well, first of all, they're warm colors, but they do have a background. So this back, or, you know, I mean dark background. So it's a contrast of color versus dark. So the colors become more powerful. It's kind of like I'm painting on a black canvas. It's a white canvas, but I just painted it black. I think they do sell, like they sell black primer you can use as a base. You know, that's if you want to do that. I think a lot of folks do that, like people who paint, they paint, I don't know, like at the pier, Santa Monica Pier, I want to say, Venice Beach, things like that. Like street artists, you know, like people that paint on the spot. Sometimes they may just use black canvases, you know, and paint like landscapes, things like that. You know, they already have the canvases pre-painted, you know. But anyways, this was just done on the spot. So we're approaching our second hour. And I know I didn't add much. I just kind of worked on a little bit of the highlights of Let me actually face it to you. Maybe I'll color in the eyes before I call it, before I stop working on this for today. Right, so thank you guys for watching us. Charlie Chavez, I think that just joined. There you go, Charlie Chavez, Yayo, Keith, Lucy Rodriguez. Everyone else that's watching us on the other groups that I shared, like community groups, the Cultural Alliance page. Shout out to Keith Lely. He tried to get me more materials from I think Michael's, but they're only accepting like pickups, so you gotta order online. Told him not to worry for now. I'd have one more canvas and I can use cardboard, but he may give us more material. If you have material to donate, send us a message. We will gladly take it. Anyways, this is the progress of our painting. All right, so I think let me color those eyes and then I'll call it quits for today. All right, this is gonna be interesting. What color should I give my eyes? I'm gonna make I have brown eyes, so I'll give it brown eyes, right? After all this you can give yours blue eyes, green eyes, black eyes. It's your painting. I'm gonna give mine brown just because I have brown eyes. And I'm going to make it about me, right? So to make brown, I'm using red, black, and a little bit of yellow. Yeah. This is kind of becoming like a light brown with a yellow. Hazel. I have dark brown, so I'm not gonna try to, some folks, they buy the contacts, to change the color of their eyes. It's all good, So let's see, I'm gonna do dark brown. And for the eyes, I'm painting from the center. I'm painting from the center outwards, because the eyes, what do we call this part of the eyeball? The pupils, like when we flash, like when when light flashes into your eyes, they react, like they respond to light. There you go. So I made a brown. I'll show you my palette. Can you see that over there? So I have a bottle of brown, but I made a brown with red and black and a little bit of yellow. That's what made it light. I didn't put white. Maybe I'll put a little bit of white now that we speak. You know what? No, I like this dark brown. What I'm gonna do is just, yep. Yeah, to bring me the white for a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna put just a little highlight of white. Thank you. That's looking pretty good, I think, so let's see. But don't worry, you can put the color eyes that you want. It doesn't have to be like yours. It's just a painting. You want to make it be appealing to you and just have fun, So give it a different colors. Like those dogs that have, this is the Huskies that have like light eyes. Like blue eyes. I think I seen them with different color eyes. I don't know if it was in a picture or in real life, but it's very interesting. Like eyes are very, the colors they range. Like if you look at snake's eyes, oh man, they look really interesting. The snake's eyes kind of look like the chicken's eyes, right? And if you're into science, you know that reptiles and birds, they come from the same um, I don't want to say family, but like they evolved from the same branch, you know, of life. And that's very interesting. When I learned that, I was like, wow, yeah. So every time I look at a chicken or a bird's eyes, I can see the eyes of a reptile. You know, I guess you know, life is very. We share a lot of features, you know. Anyways, that's my. I'm gonna add a little bit of highlight. A lot of times. By the way, my comments only reflect my personal, you know, experiences. They don't necessarily reflect the organization's, you know, stand on anything. You know, I'm an individual, and I'm just chatting here as I paint. So if I say something that you don't agree with or whatever, it's all good. You know, no harm, no. It's not meant like that. Just wanted to make that disclaimer. You know, that I'm just an individual. You know, like I'm learning in life. You know, just like a lot of folks. Elizabeth, Cultural Alliance Long Beach Video. Elizabeth ya llegó tarde a la clase, Elizabeth. But don't worry, nosotros empezamos tarde. We started a little bit late. Today it's been so hot, huh? It's like summertime in the LBC. Oh wow! Okay, let me bring that over here, mamas. So my daughter's painting here. So I'm gonna show you her painting. So she's also painting. She covered her last painting, which I really liked. It was like this Roblox character with a rainbow that was coming out of his mouth. She covered that up. She said, "Oh, I want to cover it up," you know. So, hey, that's her painting, you know. I'm not gonna tell her what to do, but maybe I'll get her closer to the camera. So she has like this phone cover. That's my daughter's painting. What she did is she wiped it out with white paint. Basically, she covered the old painting, and she started something new. And it's all good, you know? It's all good. So I'll show you the progress. Es como un teléfono, como un cover with a... Is this like a panda? No. Just... What are the... Just ears? So, son como orejas, como like ears. This phone cover. Alright, and there's like cherries. Those little circles you see are cherries. And I'll show you more as she paints along. A lot of people are giving you a lot of hearts and likes for your painting. Hola, Elizabeth. So they didn't give me a lot of likes and hearts for my painting, but they did for my daughter. But it's all good. I'm not gonna take it personal. I'm actually just appreciative. Anyways, just kidding, guys. So this is it. It's already past 5, so we're gonna start the next painting. Vamos a empezar la pintura nueva. Our next painting, we're gonna start from scratch. What I did is I recycled a painting that someone didn't finish. It wasn't something that was extremely advanced in terms of the drawing. So you may see some of the drawing marks on here, but I try to cover it up and it dried up pretty fast. So this is where we do abstract painting. So I'm going to use a large brush. Yep, here we go. So this one is, you know, so this is what I'll do. I'm going to wet the canvas a little bit so the paint can run. Right. Ideally, you want to clear the surrounding area. So you wet the first part. I want the paint to run, you know. So my daughter's over here watching. Oh, never mind. She's not watching my work. She was looking for a brush. So she's doing her own thing. I thought she wanted to see this technique. But you're watching out there, Elizabeth, Jenny, Keith Lily, Yayo shared our link. Thank you. Lucy Rodriguez. All right, so I'm just wetting the first part. And I have colors here. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to try to stay away from the dark colors. But I'll start with this orange, right? I have no plan, by the way, right? My only plan is to let it loose and be free, right? I don't know, it's like, I almost felt like that was the name of a song, huh? Maybe it is, who knows? So you can see how the color reacts with the water, right? It's kind of running, right? So now I'm going to use the red over it. And you can see it's just going to run. I have a brush that's like about 1 inch wide. You can use a larger brush too. It'll cover more. But you can see the mixture of color. Right, now I'm going to clean my brush a little bit. And I'm going to put yellow on the top and see what happens. Like I said, I have no plan but to just do experimental, freedom, abstract, runny colors, you know. That's the only kind of plan, you know, and see what happens. Well, the paint starting like, you know, the water. Let me see. Try that again. You see the water, right? It's kind of making it runny. But I want to add yellow. It's very thick. So it's kind of mixing. Right? I don't know, I feel like I'm thinking too much, you know? But the idea is try not to think. So I'm getting there, you know? This is like a challenge. Try not to think that much. Just cover the paint, the canvas, just, and it's getting on the edges. That's what I told you, to clear your you know, your area. I think I put too much water, but I don't care. You know, that was part of the plan actually, to make the colors blend on the canvas per se. So you can see, right? Now what else should I do? I can probably add so right now I have warm colors. We talked about warm colors, colores que son temperatura de caliente, warm. Rojo, red, orange, anaranjado. These colors make you think of sunlight, like, you know, the sunset, right? These are warm colors. So I started with that. Notice how if you move the brush in different motions, you create different markings, you know, like maybe plants, right? There's no plan here, guys, just to have fun. All right. Let's see. I don't know what this is going to turn into, guys. All right, so now I'm going to add blue and green. See what happens. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it right on the canvas. Wait, I forgot to... actually, I like that effect. By the way, when you do things like this, it dries different. Right now, it looks very glossy because there's a lot of water reflecting, right? So you can just see the effect of the water. This is acrylic paint, you know? You know? The more loose you get, the more you like splatter paint on it. Kind of like, here's another technique for splattering paint, you know. I mean, I don't want to make a mess here. But you can do this, right? Just, right? So you can see, you can mix it. Right? But then it becomes a little muddy. That's not necessarily what I wanted to do, but you know what, now that I did, now I'm going to move that paint around and do something with it. There you go. I like that. ¿Me pasas un trapo que está por ahí, por favor? There we go. So I'm just gonna keep adding color and see how that goes. The green, I added the green. I'm gonna add the blue. Gotta shake your paint. We have. Let's see what happens. All right. So this is abstract. I'm just playing with the paint, to be honest. You know, it's like abstract painting. Ideally, like you want to just like splatter paint all over the place, right? Like I said, I don't want to make a big mess here, so it's kind of restricting my my outcome. But let me show you another technique you can do is you grab white. I'm using the back of this paint and just, you know, adding white. Some artists have perfected this technique where they create like actual objects, like nature's, you know, trees, landscapes, you know, things like that. I don't remember it. I have one painting that's similar to this, but that's it, you know. So this is just experimenting, you know. I don't want to mix the colors anymore because when I mixed that green, it became really muddy because everything is still wet. So this, you probably want to do a few sessions, let it dry and see what happens, you know. So if you were to like splash, you probably get different markings. So just know that, be aware of your environment. If you're in a studio setting where you don't mind that, you can have more freedom. Oh, I mentioned the reason why I started doing this is because in one of our videos, I started commenting about the Jackson Pollocks, right? That he painted a lot of, he did a lot of large scale paintings that were called the drip paintings. Well, that's what, you know, they were nicknamed, but he called them murals. He was like mural number 1, mural number 2, and things like that. And, you know, that became very famous. You know, those are actually one of the most famous paintings. You know, I personally didn't understand initially, like, why he would do that, you know, I guess. But I can respect that, you know, like, I don't have to like it, I can respect it. But I figure, you know what, if he felt good doing that, why not, you know? But to say that that's, like, very hard to do, I you know, you can watch the video and, you know, you can try it for yourself. What I do gotta say about Jackson Pollock, he had training. You know, I don't know if, like, he actually knew, you know, how to do art, the art elements, all that stuff, you know. But you can see how this is looking, right? Maybe this is not going to be your thing. Maybe it is, but it feels real good to, you know, it's kind of interesting, like, to watch this paint react. All right. What if I use the back of the brush, huh, to just create some markings? See, it's now I'm dragging the paint around, right? Like I said, I have no plan. I'm just... But you can see there's a restriction in my painting. Like, the edges are not painted because I'm not trying to get it all splattered all over the place. I wasn't prepared for that. But you can make it that, you know, you could... There's artists that actually use their hands to print on them, you know, to print, you know, stretch the paint a little bit, get a little bit of markings, kind of looking like little flowers. Once you stop to think what it looks like, then you start making it look like that, and that, you know, that wasn't the intention, but you know what, I just started feeling it, you know. And your painting is going to look way different than mine. I don't know, I kind of started liking this little marks. It's almost like this planet, you know, like planet, this planet with all this interesting, I don't know what's happening here. I just know that there's a lot of freedom here. There's no restrictions. The only thing that's restricted me is this canvas. I gotta stay within the canvas. So now I can see what Jackson Pollock had to, you know, felt like using the larger, you know, canvases. So this is, I'm gonna show you my the view, and it's probably gonna smear down now that I'm picking it up because it's still wet. So I'll just put it flat. I don't want it to drip off. But anyways, this is an experimental painting, right? And you can use this as a background for other to paint over this. You know, if you can start with different colors. I didn't put any purple. It's just blue, green, and red, and orange, and yellow. Yeah, I would probably need to let it dry in order to add more. What I can do is like use a dry brush and pick up some of the paint, you know, and move it around. See how you get all those, you get new markings. So this anybody can do, right? You can use it as a background and then put your name on here. Remember the word that we did, love? You can let all this dry and cleanly put that, you can put that there if you wanted to. I'm going to go with this theme of like this plant-like shapes. I'm painting backwards, so this will be like the ground. I see how it's really hard to stay within, you know, within the, it's hard to stay, at least for me, to stay abstract. So it's not as easy as it seems, you know. I mean, I guess it is in different ways, but man, it's challenging in its own way, right? It's just a different challenge. All right, so I don't know, I'm trying to process what I'm doing here. And that's a challenge because I'm not supposed to process anything. I'm supposed to just paint. But I want to produce something interesting. That's the dilemma I'm having right now. Okay, should I keep adding? Should I take away? You can erase the whole thing like my daughter did with her painting and start again. Right? Maybe I do that. Well, I like what I have here, so I'll keep adding. You can use a spatula and carve away. Right, let's see what I have here. Okay, use another dry brush. Okay, I have an idea. I'm gonna do a border, like I see how I have this orange. I'm gonna make it stand out more when I put white and orange. So I'm gonna try to emphasize. See, it's getting a little muddy there. So I started to go over the green. So try to be conscious of at least like the colors blending, right? Because if you if you're not, then everything just becomes brown, right? So just be conscious of like when the colors mix. I mean, you can let it dry, but that, you know, then you have to wait. A lot of folks, when they do things like this, they work on one canvas, then they go to another one. That way, this one dries, they work on another one, and they just rotate them, you know. That way, they avoid the, you know, the color getting muddy. You know, I'm only gonna work on, well, you know, you never know, right? But right now, I'm only working on one canvas, right? I'm working on one canvas. Maybe I'll do more, but for now, this is the one I have right here. But when you do something like this, maybe you stop, work on another one, stop, work on another one, and you keep rotating them, and you'll produce a nice little series of abstract paintings. You know, now my brush strokes are more of a more thought out, you know, like at least on the edge here, you know. All right, so you know, you can put your hand on there and draw, but I don't want to get all messy. It's kind of inviting, right? Like to use your hands and paint over it. What do you think, Yara? She's just shaking her head like, it's good. Can I show them yours while this one dries? All right, so let me see. So she started to paint. So you can see she's doing a different style. She's actually doing an actual image. It's like a phone cover, right, Yara? And those red dots you see are cherries that she's painting. Right, there you go. So she's making a little progress here. So her style is different, right? She's actually has a drawing. Here you go, Yara. All right, guys, so I think I'm gonna let this dry. Maybe I'll touch up the sun painting a little more while this one dries. And then, well, maybe I'll come back to it. But I think I'm almost done with the sun one. But this one I'm gonna have to take a little break from, just because it's just gonna keep getting muddy. But I do want to leave this out to dry and see what happens next time. So come back to this painting at another session. I'm gonna clean the edges with this you know, with this towel, just so it doesn't drip as much. So I'm gonna set it flat. Okay. Déjala pongo así para enseñarla. Oh wait, it's actually this way. Right? Yeah, there you go, that way. You know what, it's dripping, but it's cool. I kind of like that effect. This is different than the other styles, huh? Se está tirando, no le hace. It's dripping, you can see it's dripping, and you can use that to your advantage. So we'll see what that effect does, you know. It's like, I'll just probably clean the edges, but I, you know, I do want it to, you can use that advantage, you know, that effect to your advantage. I have it inclined, so it is dripping because it's wet, and it's probably gonna run or smear down. Like some of the markings, the white ones, they're still there, but where there's more water, it's just smearing down, you know. And I'll leave it here a little more, then we'll take a little break from this one, and I'll paint the sun face a little more. Anyways, this one is abstract painting. What you want to avoid is like where it gets a little muddy, you know. I am painting live, so I do have to keep painting, you know, to make the video interesting. But ideally, you would put a layer, leave it alone, and maybe come back to it, let it dry, right? We don't have time to let it dry, so that's why this becomes a little bit muddy. But I try to avoid that, you know, and I think we did pretty well. So now I'm gonna, I like the edges. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, and I'm gonna put it right over there. That'll, okay. So you can see we have an art table, and it comes off if you clean it, you know. All right, let me get back to this painting a little bit. But I still have a little bit of the black paint out. See, after painting that other one, you get this feeling of, you know, like you did something cool, you know, and you're gonna come back to it. But so, like I said, art is therapeutic. It feels good, you know. It's like I don't know what it's gonna look like next time. You know, every time it changes. That abstract painting is gonna keep changing and changing until it feels right. Then we'll leave it alone, right? That's the idea. By the way, the Jackson Pollocks are way different. They're larger. They're like, I don't know, 6 feet long, maybe longer, maybe 12 feet. I don't know. Like, they're called murals because they're as big as a mural. And they are like the markings, you can see the energy. Like he used tree branches instead of brushes in some of them, and just kind of like let the paint drip and splatter. And there's a lot of energy involved, you know, which I didn't have here. Like I was in a way controlling it, trying to keep myself from making a big mess, right? So you can tell the difference. That's why I can respect, you know, he went out, you know, like all out, you know, like big painting, long, big splashes, you know. He used a barn. The paintings were so big, he had to use a barn to work on them. So I can see the, you know, it's just a different style. But to some people, that's not art. To some people, it is, you know. For me, you know, I don't know, like I'm experimenting, right? Like I gave it a chance, you know. Like, let me see. Let me try to do it, see what happens. What I learned is that when it comes to doing abstract, that my abstract work is going to look different than your abstract work. You know, and that's the nice thing about abstract work. It's very unique in that sense. But even realistic work, like every artist has their own style, right? I guess that's generally true of art, you know. Like you know, you can recognize somebody's work, you know. You can look at the murals, you know, that people make locally, or, you know, all through California or whatever part of the world you go to, and you can see them. What I did notice looking at the murals throughout the city is that some of them are, you know, like not all of them, but some of them are actual giant prints. Like they basically like use the you know, the wheat pasting kind of thing, but some of them are color ones, like very fine ones, like, and they just put them on. It's kind of like a poster, you know, and then they go and touch it with the brush. And I noticed that. I was like, oh wow, you know, this is like a shortcut to murals, you know. But that wouldn't last long, because after the rain, it'll peel off. Now, is that a mural? Hey, you know, some people call them murals, you know, because they're on the wall. You know, but like I said, there's different styles. Like that style of, like, you know, just pasting, wheat pasting. Anyways, there's a lot of controversy around like, graffiti style, things like that. There was a big show here in Los Angeles, I don't know, like maybe 10 years ago or so, maybe more. It was called Art in the Streets, right? They had a curator from one of the galleries in New York come to curate or become the director of the Museum of Contemporary Art. And he had this idea of like, exhibiting street art. He called like some of the historical figures, but like anything, it wasn't perfect. He left out a lot of the local LA, graffiti guys. He left out, and particularly Chaka. Shout out to Chaka. He got left out of the Art in the Streets. That's why I didn't. This was one of the bad things about that show. It's like, how can you leave Chaka out, right? In fact, I saw a Chaka tag the other day, and I don't know if it was the original Chaka, but man, it looked like the same marking. I think he had a gallery show too. I didn't get to go because I was working. Had a different work schedule then. But yeah, so it wasn't representation of all the people. They just selected some of them. Mostly it was New York. Mostly it was like New York artists, that they were shown, which is where the graffiti, started in the subways and things like that. There's a lot of good documentaries there. Obey, they had Obey. Obey is, I have my comments and I'm not going to go too much on it, but turns out that he hires people to do his street art for him. And, some people can respect that. I don't call that street art. I call that like commercial art, if you ask me. Street art is like, it has to be done in the street by the artist, in my book. But that's the beauty, we all have our opinions. Anyways, I didn't want this to become a chat about criticizing street art, but call it what it is, if it's commercial art, it is commercial art. Just because it's done in the street, does it make a street art? These are all philosophical questions, I guess. Like I told you before in the beginning of the video, art is in the eye of the beholder. So what is it to you? If you're going to buy art, it needs to feel right for you, right? That's why I always say, like I can paint a lot of good things that I like, but maybe they're not going to sell. Or vice versa, I'm only going to paint things that sell. Like shout out to everyone that paints Frida. Lots of love for that, what she did as a Mexican artist. And I think in my life I've done one Frida painting. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I remember. And I gave it away to my friend. And I never painted another Frida painting. I had this idea of curating a show of artists, woman artists. I'll throw this idea out there. Somebody does it, hey. But my show, when I do it, is going to be titled, This Is Not Frida. Just to honor all the other woman artists that are not Frida, right? If you like to paint Frida, it's a hot item. It probably will always will. And you could probably sell. If you just do nothing but paint Frida, someone's going to buy it. It's like, I feel like a lot of artists, they do that because they know it sells. And it's tough out there to survive. But you know what? I don't feel like painting just to sell. I paint because I feel like painting, So I may not sell my work. I sold some of it. A lot of it, I should say. But not enough to just, like many artists, 1% of the artists make exclusively a living off of arts. So it's a tough profession. If you're going to be a serious artist, you better love it. It's more of a passion, right? But it's not a hobby either, you know. It's a passion. Because my life revolves around art. I'm at the gallery, I'm at the curating art shows, I make art, I, you know, participate in other art exhibitions. So it's an essential part of my life, you know. Just because I don't make 100% living off of my work doesn't make it any less important. And that's the thing. You make, in your life, you make important what's, you give importance to what makes, you know, a big part of your life, you know. You know, family, art. For me, that's what it is. Family and art. My children and my art. Teaching art now, you know. I taught art before, you know, in school, the school system. K through 12. My big goal is it's now, after my daughter's a little bit older, I'm go back get my master's, teach at a college. So get ready out there. Get ready out there, because I'm going to be out there. Trust. That's the goal. It's just, you set your goals in life, you make them happen, you know. Accomplished a lot, but I'm still not done. Anyways, a lot of talk. Maybe you want to mute if you don't want to hear me. You can press the mute button and paint away. But this is my video. And I'm just kind of chatting while I'm painting. Like I said, my expressions don't necessarily represent the gallery's views, or, you know, I'm just, like I said before, this is good for you. So I'm guiding you through a process of painting, but it's also good for me because, you know, it's like I'm doing something and I'm guiding you through this. By the way, we're going to be doing, Alonso and myself, we're going to be doing a guided music practice. Elizabeth, mañana vamos a hacer guided, una guía de música. Every Saturday after our music class with Rick. By the way, if you want to join the music class, it's a conference through the Google Meets. You go to the events, the link is there, 10 a.m. to noon. But after that, Alonso and myself, we do live videos of guided music practice. And that's been very successful. All right. Very, very successful. We had people share our video, you know, in different places. We had, some of them reached like thousands of views, or at least 1,000 or more. So we appreciate that. That was for the music videos. And they were just guided practice, you know. We're gonna start introducing elements, like foundation elements in the beginning of our music videos, and then carry on with the you know, guided practice. It's kind of like a mini lesson with the guided, followed by a guided. I'm starting to like this, you know, not bad. What happens if I connect the black lines to the face? I don't know. Let's try it. So the abstract is gonna dry, and we're gonna work on it another time, so we can preserve some of the colors that are there. Oh, not bad. Not bad. Okay, this brush is too big. I'm gonna use a smaller one. So now I'm working on the drawing now. Like, I'm connecting this rays to the face, just to give it this visual, like to make it more sharp, you know. So maybe you're working like me. Maybe you're working back and forth with the abstract painting, and then coming back to the drawing, you know. I found this more helpful for me, especially I'm recording live, like work on one painting and maybe two. So that's kind of what this is turned to. Like, usually I work on at least 2 paintings during the 2-hour session. All right, guys, any last comments? We're going to probably wrap it up in a few minutes. So I see, thank you guys for watching. I have Keith, Lily, Jenny, Yayo, Elizabeth, Lucy, and anyone else is going to watch this transmission afterwards. We have, this is what the progress looks like for this sun, sun painting. So you can see pretty much I colored in, I highlighted all the shapes with black. It's kind of like I'm emphasizing the drawing, And you saw my inspiration, it was a mask here. How's your painting coming out, Yada? Oh, let me see that. Okay, so here's my daughter's progress. Her cherries, now she's drawing the little stems or the little, the little part of the cherry. So she's taking her time. She's not rushing, You can actually see the cherry she's drawing, this won't cover. So she's taking her time. There you go. Here you go, Yada. Thank you for sharing. Maybe I can add a few more highlights to our sun painting. But our abstract painting, we're going to have to come back to it after it dries, and then we'll see what we can do with it. If you have several canvas to work on, you can do several abstract paintings at the same time, and then for the next session, you can work on one of them and then let the other one dry and rotate them. You can work on 2 or 3 at the same time. I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't have enough canvases, but maybe I'll do that next time. But I still have to finish this one, the sun face. I'll put it this way so you can see more of it. Looking pretty interesting. The yellow in the middle, it's becoming stronger now that I'm doing the outlines. There you go. So I'm actually looking at how it looks from the monitor. It looks very, very bright colors, very, yeah, it was a good call to make it all black and have that as a background. It makes the colors stand out. I noticed it's not as bright at the end, and I did want it to make it bright. I don't know if I want to do that now, but well, let's try. Get another brush, put a little bit of white. Get a little bit of white and yellow. Make this yellow, this light yellow for the edges, just to make it more of a make it stand out a little more. Yep. Actually, that was a good call, because a lot of these rays are really, they have a marker coming through from the bottom, or like black paint coming through, so I'm kind of covering that now that I picked up this yellow. And so that was a good call. So I add a little more of that to the end of this rays. If you have any ideas of something you want to learn in particular, send us your comment. If you want to learn a particular technique or want to learn how to paint something in particular, or any suggestions for something you want to learn, hey, put it out there. We'll consider it. Maybe, most likely, we'll end up doing it. Any comments appreciated. Again, this is geared towards the beginning, or like people who don't necessarily have an art background. But if you're an artist and you're joining us, feel free to join us in the chat, join us in the paint along. But this is mainly geared towards like people who never painted before, maybe parents and children, and now that everybody's at home, mostly everybody's at home, whether or not this health crisis, that's why we're doing this. A lot of our people who come to the gallery here are at home, and unfortunately they can't come to the gallery physically, but if they can, they can watch us. And the videos, even though they're made live, you can go and watch them again, because I leave them on. And I leave them on for that purpose, I leave them on for that purpose, so people can revisit them. I forgot to share on the events page, but it's all right because the videos stay. So I'll do that once I'm done with this. Anyway, so all right, folks, I think that's gonna be it for now. Let me just kind of go over what we did today real quick. Okay, so I touched up on I touched up on this painting. I'll put it right here. Right, so I did a few touch-ups on this painting, and I think I'm pretty much done. I don't know if I'm going to add anything more to this. I feel like it's pretty much done. Keith Lilly says great colors. Thank you, Keith Lilly. I think that was a comment from before, but thank you again, Keith Lilly, for everything you do here at the Cultural Alliance of Long Beach. Thank you to everyone at CALB, everyone that donated. Things like Yayo donated. There's 2 canvases I'm holding. Over the past, people donated material and things like that. So I want to thank everyone, who's helped the Cultural Alliance over the years. Stay safe out there. Let me just show you the abstract painting. And this one is really kind of delicate. It's going to smear, but it's all good. So you can see that. So we worked on 3 paintings today. 2 that were in progress. The sun and the word love, the abstract painting. The abstract painting was new today. We stopped on it because we needed to dry so we can add more. And who knows if it's going to look any different. Most likely for next time. Anyways, this is Efren Luna with the Cultural Alliance of Long Beach. Thank you for watching. Share the video. You can come back and watch it from the beginning. Watch the other sessions. You can see how we started. Thank you guys. Everyone stay safe out there. See you next time. Keep painting. Remember, when I stop the classes, you can continue painting. And you can paint, today, tomorrow, anytime. Just keep painting, it's all good. You can paint later, you can paint tomorrow. Usually I do the same, I paint during the class and then I come back and touch the paintings up. So that's all, folks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking the Cultural Alliance of Long Beach on Facebook, Instagram. This is Efren Luna with Art, Music, and Culture, and with Cultural Alliance of Long Beach, straight out of Long Beach, California, sharing art and culture. Tune in tomorrow for the music class. Thank you guys for watching, supporting. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, take care of your health, take care of your community, take care of your friends. Take care of the planet. Take care of each other. Because we're all in this together. The planet, we're all part of the planet, right? Take care of the planet, starting with yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family, your friends, your neighbors. You know, say hi to somebody. You know, maybe just be nice to folks. You know, that's a good thing. So that's it, guys. See you next time. Take care.